Coming to you live from the above-ground pool at the Ditch Diggers Manor, it is the Ditch Diggers, Season 11, episode... I just freaking wrote it down. 4!
Ditch Diggers appear and ain't no wannabes here with some not so nice advice for your writing career. To be clear, no punches will be pulled, but the punch may be spiked how they like before they get on the mic. To my left we got the mighty Mer Lafferty, and if I piss her off, believe me, she'll come after me. And her co-host Ursula Vernon on the right, yeah, she's burning to recite a slime mold speech tonight. So settle in, folks, buckle in and boot up. Time to meddle in a way to make your writer shut up. It's hard work, but the perk is that it's fun and exciting. Facebook will still be there when you're done writing. Ditch Diggers! Ditch Diggers!
It feels like so much more.
I know. We've been bad with either travel or disorganization this year. We're at the end of April, and this is episode 4. So cool. We're going to try to improve on that. But we are the Ditch Diggers. We talk about writing as a job because Ditch Diggers can't get Ditch Digger block, so we really can't afford writer's block. And I'm here with my co-host, Ursula Vernon, and I didn't say my name yet, which is Mer Lafferty. Been doing this 20 years. I'm good at it. Hi, Ursula.
We have skills, mad skills honed by a lifetime that make us a nightmare to get anything done.
Yeah, that's fair. That's very fair. How are you doing?
I'm pretty good. I get to be home and things are normal for like a month, so I can get a lot of writing done, and that's pretty cool.
Awesome.
How are you?
I just got back from Savage, Maryland, where I went to kind of do a chill independent bookstore day on Saturday, and ran a solo RPG, which, you're not supposed to be able to do, but I figured I'd try it because I'm ornery. And that was a lot of fun. We played Death of the Author, and yeah, I signed a couple of books, and it was a nice trip. I tried to take it as the train is like a traveling out of your house office. And I could have easily played on my Steam Deck or Switch the whole time, but I didn't. And I actually got some stuff done on both trips. So I'm just counting it as a slightly expensive personal office trip for the 3 days. So
I'm very impressed you got stuff done. When I travel, I have finally decided I know myself and have stopped taking my laptop with me.
That's
because
fine.
I'm like, it's never going to happen.
Yeah.
Years I've been trying, and you know what? It's never going to happen.
Yeah, I did writing on the way up, and I did archive editing on the way down. And we'll talk about that later, because it's weird going back 15 years to your podcast about writing. It's just really weird. But we talked, this was only recently released because Mer's disorganized, but so in your mind it's recently, but it has been actually a couple of months since Swordheart came out. And
yes.
We're talking a lot about the marketing.
Well, technically it's been a couple of years because it was reissued, but yes.
And then you said you want to talk about your UK team marketing because that was just bananas. So tell us about yours and tell us about the UK.
Well, Swordheart seems to be doing well. It only came out in like February, so I don't have a royalty statement yet, so I can't tell you how well it's doing, but it seems to be doing well. They've sold a bunch of copies. No one is sending me threatening letters. But
when do people send threatening letters?
Well, I don't know, but it could happen.
I mean, yeah, I guess.
I mean, there are books that have come out, and the writers have gotten threatening letters.
I don't think you're Salman Rushdie, though.
Well, no.
But carry on. Sorry.
Yeah,
tangent from Mer.
I did once get stood up by a book escort for Salman Rushdie. I was going to Florida on a book tour, and I was supposed to go to a bookstore, sign stock, and then to my hotel. And they were going to send a media escort person, because it's a book tour. And she didn't show up. And after a while, I was just like, this is weird. Called the publicist who, she's like, okay, get a cab to the bookstore and I will see what's going on. So I took a cab to the bookstore, and this is in Florida, and it's like 8:00 at night, and the bookstore has no idea I'm there. I'm supposed to be there.
Oh, no.
And they're like, what? You what? And I'm like, have you seen my media escort? And like, she's out with Salman Rushdie. And I'm like, okay.
Apparently
can't
it's a
really
date.
Yeah, I'm like, I can't really argue with that one. And the bookstore staff were amazing, because there were all of these books that had been pre-sold for kids, and they had like something like 500 of them, and I had to sign them all.
Wow.
And the bookstore was closed now, and it was after hours, and like the staff is just staying and bringing in like pallets of books from the back, and I am signing frantically. It was not the best book tour I've done.
Wow.
Actually, that was the worst I've done. But anyway, yes. So Salman Rushdie, I have resented him just slightly ever since.
Yeah, I would too.
And what were we talking about?
You were talking about how Swordheart's doing. No one's sending you threatening letters, but you said
yes.
you'd heard from the UK, your UK team, about upcoming books and wanted to address that.
Hemlock and Silver. And Tor UK is like terrifying. They had a PowerPoint. They were like, let us have a Zoom meeting. And I'm like, okay. And there were like 6 people on the call who worked there, not just me and my agent. And they had PowerPoint slides, and everyone would explain, there would be a slide, and whatever team member was dealing with that marketing would explain what was going on. And it was like, okay, this is how we have positioned, this is the ads we're buying at Barnes & Noble. This is our person who deals with audiobooks, and she is trying to get a spot on, apparently Spotify shows you audiobook ads, and those are like highly sought after and not automatically determined. And she's like, yeah, she's really good at getting Spotify to give us a slot. And then they have somebody who's a former Amazon, exec, or not exec, but somebody who works there and understands how the algorithm works, who was like plotted down to the sort of millisecond at what point, after the book has been released and sales are tapering off, that we run a deal to, get things back up. And then they're like, and here's our foreign rights person, and, Australia and New Zealand and India are all very excited about this. I'm like, this is okay, great. Yay. This is a lot. And the problem is I ran out of supportive things to say after about 10 minutes. And so I'm just going, wow, that's amazing. Yeah, awesome.
Great. Get your thesaurus out.
They keep going, do you have any questions? And I'm like, I don't know anything about any of this, but, go you guys. You are doing an amazing job. Cool. They're really, Hemlock and Silver, they are really, really putting some oomph behind it. The arcs they sent out had foil.
The arcs. And they get pissed off when people sell this stuff on eBay. If you make the arc look like an art piece, they're going to sell it.
I mean, I usually just wind up giving them away as
sure. I mean, yeah,
or
but it just seems like a expensive step. So
yeah, I was like, you put foil on the art? What the? Cool, but really?
So unfortunately, what I'm trying to do here is take your situation and see what people who don't have similar marketing teams behind them, what they can do. Or I should say what we can do, because
they had a lot about influencers, They had a bunch of influencers that they work with on various platforms, mostly I think Instagram and maybe Book Talk, and how, they were working with them. So I think that is probably something that individuals can still do. Like, I don't think any of us by ourselves are going to figure out how to get a book Spotify ad.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not within our purview, but there are, people who promote books that are probably worth investigating.
Yeah. My problem is, and I'm possibly projecting here, but as someone who has 2 writing podcasts and people contact me all the time about being on it, I guess I often pay more attention to the ones where teams send, like a publicist team sends it, because I know better. For one, saying no is easier to a publicist than to a writer, and otherwise, it's hard to know. I'm going to sound all gatekeepy and mean and bitchy here, but I'll have a better sense of the quality. I mean, there are some amazing self-published books out there, but
I have self-published some of them, yes, and I don't think you're wrong.
And I'm not putting down. And there's a lot of dogs. I'm sorry, Rosa. There are a lot of crappy books published traditionally, but it's not a bad bet to make. And
the other thing is that you get people who are taking the advice that I just handed out, but are not narrowing the focus. So you get like, can I come on to promote my nonfiction book about,
or and Finding God up there or something?
Yes, or cooking with urine, or whatever.
Yeah. I might have the Cooking with Urine author on my show. Okay.
So I think what we're saying is do not take the shotgun approach to influencers. Do the actually know who you're sending stuff to, and if they do that stuff.
Yeah. It really annoys me when people are just like, I've gotten memoirs. These people talk a lot about writing and help writers, and here's their book, but the book isn't about writing. So
yep.
I recently did a poll for Patreon followers saying I may branch out and talk to people who other than science fiction fantasy writers. Would you guys like fiction writers, self-published folks, or all the above? And most people said all the above. So it's like, on one hand, I want to bring the listeners what they want. On the other hand, I have a hard enough time picking people to be on the show when half the people I can just throw away because they're not qualified or they haven't actually read what I'm looking for guests. And now if I'm going to allow a lot more people on, I have a lot more stuff to go through. So
the flush pile gets exponentially bigger.
Yes, those are very few words that said everything I just babbled. Valerie Valdez wants to know, should I go store to store and color the edges of my book?
I see nothing that can go wrong with that plan.
Godspeed, Valerie. Good luck. Oh, boy. So have you learned anything that you may want to take forward? Because you're still self-publishing, because you like that monthly check. And since it's at the end of royalty month and I still have two checks to wait for, I'm kind of jealous of your every month. Well, actually, I have some stuff on Amazon, but it's like $2 to $12 a month. It's like, it's not even soda money at this point. But with the work you're doing, are you thinking of using anything you've learned, or is it impossible, or are you already confident with your self-pub audience?
I generally have worked on the assumption that my self-pub advertising is the traditional pub. Like if I sell a book to, because you know how it is. If you read a book you like, you're then like, let's see what else this author has. And you want to go read it. And so, you know, if they like Hemlock and Silver, maybe they will like the Paladin books. So really, you know, and they also say the best advertisement for your book is writing the next book.
Yeah.
Or is the next book, which is also true. All of your sales tend to get a bump then. And so at one point I was like, I am making money self-publishing, and I will get a lot less of I will get a smaller piece of perhaps a larger pie from publishing with a conventional publisher, but that will also sort of reactivate my backlist and be an advertisement for it, because like if there's a big ad up that says Hemlock and Silver by T. Kingfisher, well, T. Kingfisher is on that, and that you know means that they may pick up all the Paladin books or whatever, or any of the others. So I think that's because I hate ad marketing. I am the worst at it in history. I can just about say, hey, book came out, sorry to have bothered you, and go away again. So it's worth it having a hybrid career if you know you are bad at marketing to have a publisher who is good at marketing to handle that, and then you just get the knock-on effects from the backlist.
Right. So again, it's something we can't control.
Not really. It's I mean, I guess you can control it in that, have you considered getting a book published? But like, which for ditch diggers, okay, yes, to a certain extent, it's a business. You know, we assume you are no longer, you know, quite in, or you're not necessarily in the aspiring, but in the, so I published a thing. But yeah. Yeah.
Well, I recently found a new thing that I'm really interested in. I am not sponsored. It's called Stamp Fans, and it's for people who want to send physical letters or postcards to your user base. And it is paid for by the user, so you just basically, you set the price at the lowest amount, which is Stamp Fans make money, and you don't. And then whoever wants to subscribe will, you know, it's between the Stamp Fans and the user, while all you have to do is upload a thing.
Like a letter or a doodle or something?
Yeah. So it's the same, you know, you can't personalize anything, and you get one a month. But I decided to hyperfocus and put together like a 3-page zine about the bullies that live in my head, and using a lot of my kids' art and stuff, and I had fun doing it. Canva has really good newsletter templates. That's like a little tampon.
Yeah.
Templates.
That's like for the super light days.
Yeah. Templates are for the big tampons. So
yes.
Canva has really good templates, and they so it was pretty easy to put together. And I just started thinking about all the other things I could do with that, like put out like specific, like short story marketing. Like there's a couple of stories I want to do to market the book that's coming out in July, and there's like, I've started getting into a couple of, I don't even know what they're called. It's not a keepsake game, but somebody sends you like a police report and a bunch of photos, and you have to like sort of figure out what happened during the mystery kind of thing.
Oh yeah. The like detective box things.
Yeah, kind of. It doesn't have to be a a mystery, but I guess that
right. Well, some of them are like horror and whatnot.
Yeah.
I think we sent years ago. Kevin sent a friend of ours a one about the King in Yellow.
Cool.
That you could
Yeah. So
but it didn't include his name, so dude was like, "Did you send this? Who sent this?"
Yeah, the King in Yellow shows up on your doorstep. You're gonna be probably a little frightened. So the limitations with stamp fans are the same thing goes out to everybody. You only get to do it once a month. You can get like 8 or 10 pages max sent. And they only send to US, UK, and Canada. But I still think it's something pretty interesting to do for people who do their own marketing and do their own stuff. I wish, and I emailed the owner and just said, "Hey, unsolicited questions or advice here," but there are some services that you can connect to your Patreon, so you can give people a certain level of service, and you pay the service. But now, then your Patreon people get things. I did it with the program Bonjoro, which connects to Patreon. So every time you get a new patron, Bonjoro tells you you've gotten a new patron and gives you an opportunity to send them a personalized video. That's like, you talk for a minute. You say, "Thanks for supporting me." And people like the individual attention. And so, I'm thinking maybe something like that. And the guy's like, "It's a good idea. I've thought about going with Patreon. Won't work in current form." I'm like, yeah, I kind of figured that. But still, it's an interesting idea, and I'm trying to figure out what I'm going to do with it. So,
that is interesting. The thought of providing a personalized video for anyone, or indeed a not personalized one, makes me want to scream and run into the void. But you are much more of a video person than I am.
I did not do a good job with it. I would let them pile up and then sit in an afternoon and do them all. And half of them had to be like, "I know you started supporting me 3 months ago, and I'm not sure if you're supporting me now, but thanks for the support you did give. Yay, thumbs up."
Yeah, that's awkward.
Yeah. So I eventually stopped using it because it was something I was paying for that gave a bonus after people supported. It was nothing that could be used to bring in more supporters. And I couldn't think of another way to use it to actually bring more value to the Patreon. If anybody out there has an idea, it is a cool program. It's just I couldn't make it work for me and justify the price, I think, is what I'm saying.
Maybe if you got into Blender and started doing Blender is the video editing, modeling, CGI kind of thing. People have done amazing sort of found footage horror things using it. But this might require you, and you could do an interesting sort of horror approach where you did like maybe 3 or 4 videos and sent them out to one goes to a third, one goes to a third, one goes to a third of the patrons, and then they have to get together and figure out what the hell is going on based on, the disparate chunks of data they have. But
kind of like an ARG?
Yeah, like an ARG, sort of. That'd be a lot of work.
Yeah.
But that was the thing that sort of came to mind.
Mm-hmm.
But possibly that's because I have been playing a visual novel recently, and
which one?
Scarlet Hollow.
Okay, I've got that one. I haven't done a lot with it, but I have it.
It's interesting. It's very well written, and it's the sort of thing I would love to do, except I would not be. I would be doing it with stick figures and cut out, newspapers or something, because the notion of doing all the visuals fills me with unspeakable dread.
Yeah.
And which is the problem with visual novels, is that people do expect a visual. So, like,
yeah.
I mean, am I a good enough writer that I could probably pull something off with stick figures? I am not Randall Munroe, but, I could give it a go in my copious spare time. Mm-hmm. But it always comes down to the copious spare time thing.
Yeah, indeed. I was going to think of some other marketing stuff I'm doing. So I will be doing some short stories around some of the stuff happening in Infinite Archive. Hopefully they'll be good standalone stories, because they're a story within a story. It's not going to be about Station Eternity. It's going to be a book someone's reading aboard Station Eternity.
Interesting.
Yeah, so...
It worked for Kat Valenti and the girl who circumnavigated.
It did. It really did. So I am going to be playing around with that and trying to figure out something to do with Stamp fans. And then this podcast and the other podcast hopefully will be marketing itself. Also, this month, or rather next month, when this goes up, it'll be this month, in May, Escape Pod celebrates its 20th birthday.
Holy moly!
Yeah, and we have an original story running that day that's going to be very, very fun.
And tell us about this story, Mur. Like, who the author is.
It is called Bob and the Crop Circles, and it is by T. Kingfisher, if you couldn't guess that based on the title. And it's about Bob and the crop circles. So
it is good if you have not read the Time with Bob and the Unicorn.
Yeah,
that's a useful.
That one was awesome. I may see if we could unearth that, and I'll give it to Valerie to see if we should run that on Escape Pod. But yeah, the Time with Bob and the Unicorn was the first one. I bought it from Mothership Zeta back in 10 years ago. Oh my God. 2015.
Oh my God. Was that 10 years ago?
It was.
No wonder when I was writing, I couldn't remember shit and had to go reread it.
Couldn't remember Bob. Couldn't remember the narrator.
No, I remember. The funny thing was that I had the crop circle thing I had already started, and I had at least a third of it lying around. And I can't believe that was 10 years ago. Mm-hmm. 10 years used to mean a lot more than it does now.
I was thinking about that, and considering about 4 of those were inside hiding from a pandemic, and some people still are, and that sucks too. But it just feels like those years stuff happened, but yeah. It's kind of
it's Kevin pointed out to me the other day that we have been together for 17 years. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, what? No way. That's, I could maybe give you 5, maybe 8.
Yeah.
But 17, how is that possible?
Yeah, Devo Spice in chat has a really good point. It's a larger percentage of your life when you're younger. When you're older, it's just like, you could easily say, 5 years ago, something happened, and it feels like, well, that was just a little bit ago.
And I think part of it, too, has something to do with agency of a sort. Like, I was so bored as a kid all the damn time and now if I'm bored, I either have work or I can just go buy a damn video game if I want it. Mm-hmm. So that may have something to do with it, I think.
Yeah, Underpope says, my wife and I have been married 23.5 years, and that completely blows my freaking little brain.
Right? It's like, and it's not that it's bad. It's, because I'm like, no, this is great. I'm thrilled. But also, how has it been that long?
Yeah.
Like, wouldn't I have noticed more?
Yeah.
How do I still randomly learn things about you? The other day, I learned that Kevin had not heard the "I am just going outside and maybe sometime," and then I had to explain about the doomed Scott expedition to him, and like, wow. Your silence makes me think that perhaps you do not know this reference, Murr.
Actually, I don't, but I also got a weird alert on my tablet, which tells me my stream is live, and we've even been back for 10 minutes, so it's very, very late alert. Anyway.
Yes, indeed.
Sorry. Yes, tell me about the story. I have no idea what you're talking about. So now you know
I
that
thought everyone knew this one. Yes, the Scott expedition, the people who went to the South Pole and got there second, and Amundsen, got there first, but they were British and they were going to be British about it, so they got there second. They started back. I think there were 5 of them. One of them had sustained a injury, possibly a foot injury, I don't remember, and he could not keep up with, it was Oates, I think, and he couldn't really he knew that he was slowing everybody else down, and so they stopped one night, they set up their tent, and he said his famous last words were, "I am just going outside and maybe sometime," and he went outside and deliberately froze himself to death so that everybody else could move faster. It didn't work because everybody died, but they found their journals and they all recorded that, wow, yeah, that was really British. And it's...
oh my God.
And then later it came out that the Scott expedition was badly put together, and it has been... Whether the man was a blithering idiot or merely well-meaning and... no, actually, history's mostly come down on the side of blithering idiot. But anyway, ask Alistair about it. I was talking about this on Blue Sky. People were like, "Oh yeah, if you're British, you take that one in prenatally. You know that reference." And it was interesting. So anyway, it had snowed here. It was very cold. I had to go out and shake snow off the plum tree so that the branches didn't break. And I said, "I am just going outside and maybe sometime." And then I waited expectantly, and he looked at me and he was like, "I'm sure that's a reference, but I don't get it." And I'm like, "Oh my God, let me tell you about the Scott expedition." So yes, just as I inflicted that on everyone else. So yes.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway.
Excellent. I'm hearing Twitch is being weird today.
Oh, so it's not you?
No, it's not. Yeah, I don't know. I think maybe we should just wrap it up.
Okie dokie.
I pretty much said I wanted to say about the new marketing stuff I was working on. And that's about it. I'm hoping this is still recording. So
yes.
Tell us where to find you online.
You can find me at Blue Sky as T. Kingfisher, or redwombatstudio.com has all of my books and upcoming books, and I actually updated it semi-recently.
Oh, wow.
I was really trying to avoid writing that day. And where can we find you, Murr?
I am at murverse.com, and when I do go to the socials, I am Mighty Murr, or on Instagram, I'm Mighty Murr #2. And I actually did post some things. Yeah. And
Ooh.
yeah, I know, it's crazy. But yeah, I try to stream. Ursula and I have the intention of streaming every other Monday on Twitch at 3 p.m. if Twitch cooperates.
It wasn't our fault this time.
No, it wasn't. Are we doing this in 2 weeks? Are you going to be in town?
I think I am. My schedule is on my iPad, which is in front of me. Why did I look around for it?
I don't know.
But, let's see. Yes, it is on the schedule. I do not appear to be doing anything.
Great. Then we should be back in 2 weeks. You can see me on Twitch this Thursday at 3 p.m. I think. Yeah. I might. Yeah. I have other things planned that day, but I can still stream. So yeah, I'll be talking about writing and probably be talking about the fourth bully. I have so far talked about the bullies. The main mean bully, which is Bart, and then there's the Blade, which is jealousy, and then there's Sponge, which just wants you to clean your house before you write. Is that too much to ask? So, luckily, I've actually come up with 2 new bullies since doing the actual talking about the bullies who sit on your shoulders. One of them is the Magpie, which makes you stop writing your current book to go try the new thing. And I forgot what the second one is.
But that guy and I like he's not a bully, he's a colleague. He and I work together very well.
Yes, but you go back to the first thing eventually.
Oh, eventually, yeah.
Yeah, you don't just say, "Oh, this is hot garbage, I need to try something new."
No.
Right. But yeah, I did come up with another thing, but I can't remember what it was. Damn it. So maybe I only have 1 new bully. But anyway, that's where to find me. Hopefully this is recording. If not, I'm going to make some angry noises. And we'll see you next time on Twitch. Thank you, Ursula.
Thank you, Mur.
This podcast was produced under Creative Commons Attribution, Non-Commercial, No Derivatives License. Music provided by Devo Spice, devospice.com.
Ditch Diggers!
This is a free podcast brought to you by the kindness of our patrons. If you would like to also be kind and a patron, go to patreon.com/mightymur.